Before the first field was ever plowed, a single glowing coal cupped in human hands reshaped our world. In the firelight, bitter smoke stung the eyes, but the hiss of roasting meat was the sound of survival. This mastery of flame stretched the day, softened our food, and warmed the conversations that would become language, story, and memory. The campfire was our first classroom, and from these circles of warmth, a new idea took root. With patience and saved seeds, wild grasses could be tamed into grain, and temporary camps could harden into permanent villages. Along the great riverbanks of the Nile, the Tigris, and the Indus, surplus harvests gave rise to new kinds of people, specialists, priests, and rulers. Grain was counted, and promises were carved into stone as law. Writing and bureaucracy were revolutionary. They allowed commands and records to travel, letting cities plan and project power far beyond their walls. But order required belief. Philosophy and faith provided the reasons, teaching why society mattered and who had the right to lead. The Buddha and Confucius offered paths to wisdom, while sacred laws shaped everything from justice to daily bread. These ancient arguments over meaning and authority still echo in our world, from corporate ethics to public trust. Across steppes, seas, and deserts, classical empires pushed outward, their borders meeting in a fragile dance of trade and tension. Merchants and pilgrims forged the first global connections, the Silk Roads, the Indian Ocean routes, the Trans-Saharan trails. Along with silk and spice, they carried world-changing technologies like paper and the compass, and they carried the plague. When a virus crosses an ocean today, or a new flavor transforms a city's cuisine, we are living a legacy written by these ancient travelers. These networks grew, but the world was not yet one. A great jolt was coming, one that would pull every shore into a single, uneasy encounter. In a German town, in the late autumn of 1517, a young man wipes ink from his knuckles. The air smells of wet paper and conviction. A hammer lifts toward a wooden church door. This is the sound of a world breaking open. Renaissance eyes were learning to measure shadows and map the stars, while the voices of the Reformation demanded to know who held the right to interpret truth. Soon, this spirit of inquiry turned wonder into experiment, and debate into a method. That method fueled an enlightenment of reason, rights, and evidence, and for the first time, ideas began to march across the globe. Factories hummed. Clocks sliced the day into unforgiving units. Soot settled on brick as human labor was remade. New nations arose, wrapped in flags and anthems, while crowds discovered the immense power of the ballot and the strike. But as empires expanded, a question burned: who belongs and who is cast out? The First World War shattered borders and a generation. The Second obliterated cities and families. The horrors of genocide and total war forced humanity to forge new ethics, to build fragile tribunals, and to whisper an uneasy vow: never again. From the rubble, new orders were drafted, but the old divisions remained. Worlds that had once been held apart now collided. Colonies became nations, their hopes for freedom often met with the bitter realities of partition and conflict. A Cold War rivalry drew lines across the planet, shaping alliances, economies, and even the thoughts taught in classrooms. Then, in the late 20th century, new networks emerged, woven from trade, satellites, and screens, connecting us all in an instant. This history is not over. It is in your newsfeed, your job, your identity. Genome editing tests our ethics, while artificial intelligence asks what it truly means to be present. Climate and pandemics ignore our borders, demanding a cooperation we are still struggling to learn. The story continues, and its next turn is already gathering force. We just haven't learned its name yet.